Hi, welcome to the Brief Book Reviews channel, otherwise known as An Old Guy Reviews the book that he's read this week. So what's the old guy read this week? Well, book I've read this week is this one. It's called The Final Vow by author M.W.Craven, Mike Craven. It was released as a hardback here in the UK on the 14th of August 2025 by Constable. And it helpfully tells us on the front of the book that this is the new Poe and Bradshaw thriller. So it's another adventure, the seventh full-length adventure for Detective Sergeant Washington Poe and his friend Tilly Bradshaw. What's it all about, I hear you say? Well, we kick off with a shooting at Gretna Green. A bride is murdered on her wedding day. Clearly a terrible, devastating event. But what makes it worse is that the body count of a sniper who has been going up and down the country is now 17. There's turmoil, chaos in the country. People don't want to go out because they're frightened they'll be the next victim of the sniper. You know, pubs and restaurants are putting up blooming great tarpaulins so that there's no line of sight for anybody looking to shoot people. And generally, the public at large are really, really frightened. It's affecting business, it's affecting people's lives. So a COBRA meeting is called in the UK. COBRA meeting is called when there's a national emergency, and it stands for Cabinet Office Briefing Room A. So it's an old wartime meeting room, and all interested parties are invited to this meeting. So we get the police, we get the security services, we get the military, we get local councils, you name it. Anybody that's involved gets invited. Management by committee doesn't always work, as we know, but hey, and of course we get politicians who are more interested in covering their backs than solving the problem at times. But at any rate, I digress. There's certainly a little bit of cynicism in this book about the way that politicians and senior officers in the police force behave, but I guess that affects quite a few industries and there's nothing new there. Right, back to the story, Cliff. Okay. So one of the attendees of the COBRA meeting is a guy called Alistair Locke. He's from MI5 and the security service, and he thinks he's got an idea of how we can fix this. He thinks possibly the only team that could fix this problem are one that he's dealt with before. They used to be called SCAS, Serious Crime Analysis Section. And they consisted of quite a few people, clearly, but the main characters being Detective Sergeant Washington Poe, his friend Tilly Bradshaw, and a DI called Stephanie Flynn, who's now no longer a DI, is now a DCI. That unit was disbanded. Poe got sent off to do initially some training, and at this moment in time, he's currently on a fisheries vessel, on a border force vessel, trying to stop people importing drugs and paraphernalia into the UK, and not really enjoying it because it's not a really great job. He smells of fish all the time, basically. Tilly Bradshaw has been working for the security services, and the DI they used to work with, Stephanie Flynn, has been promoted to DCI, but sent to the Met's modern slavery department. So Locke says these people, when they worked together, were very, very good. We have Poe's detective skills, we have Tilly Bradshaw's analytical skills and her computer skills, and we have Stephanie Flynn, who is just simply a good detective. So they decide that they're the Poe and Bradshaw and Co. the only team that can find out what's going on with this sniper, trying to get some order out of the chaos that's being caused. And that's basically the tale. Poe is happy to be working with Tilly again, and one of the things about this book is the relationship between Washington Poe and Tilly Bradshaw. Clearly she's his best mate. There's a lot of banter between them, but it's very believable banter, and that relationship between the two is one of the strengths of this book. Poe's got other things to worry about as well. He's about to be married to Estelle Doyle, Lady Doyle, and clearly he's got a wedding to worry about, as well as finding this sniper that's killing loads of people. So that's the story. In effect, there's lots of twists and turns. There are some great believable characters on the periphery. There's a chap called Uncle Bertie, who's not actually Estelle's uncle, but he's coming to the wedding, and he's an old school bit of a lad type character. There's also people giving Poe advice, including his former therapist who's got a bipolar problem, a dual personality, a Jekyll and Hyde type character. So lots of things going on. It's very well written. It moves fast. There are, as I said, there are believable characters, and including the villain of the piece, the sniper, who isn't just an out and out, I'm going to kill somebody sniper. He's very manipulative, he's very bright, and he's very clever. That is as well is very well written. So Poe and Bradshaw know that they've got a really, really hard to defeat adversary here. So that comes out in the book, and in the end they have to resort to a fairly cunning plan to lure the sniper into a trap, if you will. But really enjoyed it. 388 pages. I haven't read the previous M.W.Craven book I read were the Ben Koenig, the Fearless type books. Haven't read Poe and Bradshaw. Really enjoyed this, and I don't think it's given too much away. That clearly we'll be seeing more from them in the future. So, really good murder mystery, well written, believable characters, fast paced, twists and turns as you would expect in a murder mystery, but a very good book. Really enjoyed it. So I think that's it for this week's brief book review. 10/10 till we do it again. Thanks for watching. Bye.